Oh, this jump right here. This
No.
Oh, shalom, shalom, shalom.
Yeah.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. How about that?
Give him the mic.
How about that? How about that? How about that? We good?
Yeah, you good.
Say less. Dang.
Yeah, you didn't get none of that.
Dang, they just messed up the whole little.
I don't think about that MacBook. Every time you turn it off, turn it back on, you reset it.
Okay, hold on. Let me get some. Let's get some more music over here then.
Why is enough never enough? Why is enough never enough? Sick of myself, full of disgust, dirt chasing dust, feeling this lust. Why is enough never enough? Why is enough never enough? I said I'm sick of myself, full of disgust, dirt chasing dust, feeling this lust. Man,
I'm battling with the man in the mirror, struggling trying to get my mind clearer, with my head up to the ceiling, looking for an answer, really hit me while I compare myself to others in the picture. What did they have to die getting? Just because they walked through lady, don't have the stress by expenses. Man, they were blessed so much, now raising the house so little, looking on thing with no meaning. Money is the rule of all evil, but it's like my palm keep itching. But my life now is at a balance till I see something way better start matching. Now I got a little bar standards, wouldn't satisfied with a plate that was handed with a spoon in the bed like I took it like a second, cause I really get judged. Still dream about the legend of an LA. All the weapon test drove off a park place. All the chicks seen at the club late nights. They won't wake up with me after daybreak. Situation that'll make your heart ache. Sometimes you gotta do what your heart say. And my girl says like she playing catch up. And it's messed up, she gotta learn the hard way. And it's so wide, do I feel so disgusting? Gotta break it up, walk and feel like I got nothing. Why with myself, all just to keep it with the charm. That's kind of messed up when everybody's not to judge you. When it's enough, it's enough. Time to be sick of myself. Searching for the life of this love. Never know how you cross down. To the world, that's just love.
Why is enough never enough? Why is enough never enough? Sick of myself, full of disgust, dirt chasing dust, feeling this lust. Why is enough never enough? Why is enough never enough? I said I'm sick of myself, full of disgust, dirt chasing dust, feeling this lust.
Yeah. Let me tell you about stuff that I've been through. Some of this stuff that I didn't do. Some of this stuff that I did do. I'm cutting you up like a Ginsu. Who me? Yeah, I been you. Been with the real since 02. Can't help it that they know to do. They choosing me while I'm choosing you. Playing this game with no rules. Real versus road rules. Had one, but I wanted you just to get up on you. Next day I don't know.
Shalom, little bro. How you doing?
Then I go right back to my old life like everything is cool. I'm sedated, I'm so faded, I'm so gone. All my fears and my cheers and my wrongs. Got a girl, but still want a cheap boy. That lust can take over me, especially in this Texas. But that lust, it will cost a fee. Yeah, the state got a monthly fee. If I don't pay, they will come for me. Think they sending girls after me, so I pay it. Do that for my baby. I know they hate me, Lord, save me. I'm fighting them demons daily, Lord, getting that monkey off my back.
Why is enough never enough? Why is enough never enough? Sick of myself, full of disgust, dirt chasing dust, feeling this lust. Why is enough never enough? Why is enough never enough? I said I'm sick of myself, full of disgust, dirt chasing dust, feeling this lust. Man, don't save him, he don't want to be saved. Got 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in the grave. Every day is a hustle, he just trying to get away. And this led to captivity, to the lust he is slave. And the worst thing about it,
these not extensions, y'all.
Got a lot of feelings, he don't even show him. He was taught as a child to bury and keep in check. Go stand in the rain before you let him see you sweat. If that's the way that he was raised, that's the way he lives his life. If only one day he could change, but cannot change on his inside. So he the one that pays the price, or she the one that's in his life, and she only just wants his time. He is always on the grind. He won't even take the time to tell her she is on his mind. Even though that was the truth, she would think that he was lying. So she packed up, left him behind, looking for what she could not find. He is stuck, can't press rewind on what he had when he was blind. Why is enough? Never enough. Why is enough? Never enough. Sick of myself, full of disgust. Dirt chasing dust, feeling this lust. Why is enough? Never enough. Why is enough? Never enough. I said I'm sick of myself, full of disgust. Dirt chasing dust, feeling this lust, man.
All praise, honor, and magnificent glory is unto the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to his only begotten son, Yeshua HaMashiach. We also give him praise, honor, and great glory. Our King, the only true King, the living word who coming back to set the record straight for Israel, because of Israel, and even between Israel. To our brothers and sisters in the faith, as always, we salute you. I got my vein with me. Our key young lion is in the building.
Shalom, family. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. How y'all doing out there? Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody had a blessed week, safe week. As y'all see, we back with part 3, the Order of Aaron, a means to an end, the Order of Melchizedek, the beginning and the end, part 3, which more than likely will be the last part. So the first 2 parts, we already completed. The first part was going into Melchizedek before it came into its fullness. We went into a lot of things in that first part. Matter of fact, let me go back to my notes. We looked at in the first part how Melchizedek is the father's priesthood that was fresh out the gate with the Testament of Judah in chapter 21, verses 1 through 4. And then we showed how there's a temple in the heavens. You know what I'm saying? So Melchizedek, and we show how the law, the Sabbaths, the feast days, how all that was written on tablets in the heavens before, you know what I'm saying, man had anything to do with anything. And then we saw how it moved down to the earth. Everything that was in the heavens moved down to the earth, dealing with men like Adam, Noah, Abraham, Enoch, Methuselah, Ner. And Ner and his wife had a son, and Noah and Ner named him Melchizedek. And we learned the destiny of the child would be that Michael would come and take him and place him in paradise where Adam was for 7 years. That's 2nd Enoch, I believe, chapter 72. And then it said another Melchizedek would arise, who will be the priest of all priests. That's any Melchizedek priest, any Levitical priest, priest of all priests. You know what I'm saying? We also saw men doing priest work. We saw men doing their priestly duties. Noah, Adam building altars, Abraham building altars, Isaac, even Jacob. You know what I'm saying? And then in part 2, starting out in part 2, we ran through a few more Melchizedek principles, the promises that was made to Abraham. Right, the promises that came before the law, right? The law of animal sacrifice, that is. Then we looked at the covenant of circumcision. And we saw how Abraham was deemed righteous before Genesis 17.
That's right.
That's a principle of Melchizedek as well, principle spiritual circumcision, I mean. And then we got off into the Levitical priesthood. Out the gate, Testament of Levi chapter 16, it was the priesthood was going to lapse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it said. Then we finally got into it. Exodus 28, Exodus 40. He told them they would have an everlasting priesthood, got in the everlasting, saw that one of the definitions was for long duration. All right. And then we saw the qualifications for a high priest in Leviticus 21. Even looked at some parallels with how it relates to Messiah. Numbers 4, the duties of the different Levites, the Gershonites. Mm-hmm. What was the other ones? The Kohat,
and Mary.
Yep, and Mary. Ran through Leviticus 16. We also show how under the order of Melchizedek, the main sacrifice was done at the foundation of the world, says Revelation 13. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And Abraham prophesied it as well in Genesis 22. The Lord himself shall provide a lamb. All right. And then looked at some other things concerning the Levitical priesthood. When they went off in Malachi, we read that that Christ would come and clean up the Levitical priesthood. And then the end that we ended it with that John 3, where John, who was a Levite, said, I shall decrease and he shall increase.
That's right.
All right, so which brings us to part 3. Now that we caught all up, we at part 3 now. And we introducing, of course, the high priest after the order of Melchizedek. He gonna be the main topic. We're gonna try our best to get through all this tonight. We're gonna hit Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do whole chapters. I'm talking about Hebrews 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You know what I'm saying? We're going to hit a little bit of Romans. We're going to be everywhere tonight. And then we're going to deal with Levi and their everlasting priesthood. You know what I'm saying? We're going to deal with that. We're going to deal and you know what I'm saying, put an end to the series tonight, hopefully. So let's get into it, Pops. We're going to get into start off with 2 review scriptures. Psalms 110 first. Let's do Psalms 110 first. Let me share the screen. We caught all up. Let's get to it. Psalms 110. When you get there, go ahead.
Yahweh said unto my master, sit thou in my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Right.
Yahweh shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Mm-hmm. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Mm-hmm. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness. From the womb of the morning, thou hast the dew of thy youth.
Right.
Yahweh has sworn and will not repent.
He has done what?
He has sworn and will not repent.
So who sworn? Who sworn?
Yahweh.
Yahweh, the Father sworn. This is David in the spirit. Now that we finished with all the types and shadows, right? Everybody who we read about up until this point was pointing you to this person that we talking about tonight, and that's Christ. So this is how his priesthood was established. It wasn't by lineage. It was by oath by the Father. This is how it was established right here. Go ahead.
Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
Now, who gonna argue with the Father? Any takers? Any takers in the chat want to dispute that with the Father? Any of you Negroes who claim y'all high priest, chief priest, want to dispute that with the Father? I didn't think so. Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Yahweh at thy right hand shall strike through kings.
Right.
In the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies.
Go ahead.
He shall wound the heads over many countries. He shall drink of the brook in the way. Thereof shall he lift up the head.
All right, let's go to John chapter 3. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to John chapter 3. Let's pick it up at verse 26. Let's read 26 through 35. When you get it, go ahead.
And they came unto John and said unto him, Rabbi, he that was with thee beyond Jordan, to whom thou bearest witness, behold, the same baptizes, and all men come to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yehuganan answered and said, a man can receive nothing except it be given him from heaven. Ye yourselves bear me witness that I said, I am not the Hamashiach, but I am sent before him. He that hath the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom, which standeth and heareth him, rejoices greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This is my joy, therefore is fulfilled.
Right, go ahead.
He must increase.
He must what?
He must increase.
He must increase. So knowing all the prophecies concerning Messiah, Psalms 110 is one of them. So if he must increase, then we must take Psalms 110 into consideration. So must his priesthood.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
But I must decrease.
And this is coming from who? A Levite.
That's right.
So his priesthood must decrease. All right, go ahead.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 31. He that cometh from above is above all. He that is of the earth is earthy, and speaketh of the earth. He that cometh from heaven is above all.
Then we read that the priesthood started in the heavens.
That's right, brother.
Right? So that priesthood would be what? Above all.
Above all.
All right, go ahead.
32.
And what that was it on that.
Okay.
Let's go to Daniel 9. Daniel chapter 9. I'm going to pick it up at verse 24. Daniel chapter 9, verse 24 through 27. When you get it, go ahead.
70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, to anoint the most holy. Now therefore understand from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem,
right,
until the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous time. All
right, so we in other lessons we dealt with these things. A messianic figure had to come and accomplish these things that we read about in verse 24. You know what I'm saying? Before the destruction of the temple. We all know who that is. We're reading about it. We're going to read a lot about him tonight. That's the Messiah. Right here, tell you in verse 25. We aiming for verse 26, right? But keep reading.
And after 62 weeks shall Mashiach be cut off. But not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. And the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. Verse 27 is what we aiming for. My bad, family. Go ahead. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Right. And in the midst of the week shall he cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease.
He shall cause the sacrifice and oblations or offerings, the sacrifices and offerings to cease. That's a prophecy right there. Prophecy in Daniel 9, the sacrifices and offerings would cease. All right, let's go to the next spot.
Finish it out.
Finish it out. My bad.
And for the overspreading of abomination, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Let's go to Matthew 3. Let's go to the next spot. Let's go to Matthew chapter 3. Go to Matthew chapter 3. So we remember when we read in the last class when Aaron the priest was being anointed to be high priest, right? They had anointed him with some oil, correct? And we know that the oil is symbolic of the Ruach HaKodesh.
That's right.
All right. So now when the Ruach HaKodesh come over you, Now you equipped to go forth and do whatever work the
That's
Most
right.
High got for you to do.
That's right.
Whatever mission that was, you do it. Just like he put the spirit of wisdom on the workmen to build the things for the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is a characteristic of the Ruach HaKodesh. So once he put that on them brothers, they was able to go forth and do the work the Most High had for them to do. Just like Aaron and his sons. When he anointed them with that oil, now y'all got the power to go forth and do what I need y'all to do. All right, the oil represented the Ruach HaKodesh. Let's go to Matthew 3. Pick it up at verse 13. Watch this. This is the baptism of Christ. Watch this right here. Go ahead.
Then cometh Yeshua from Galilee to Jordan unto John to be baptized of him. But Yehubanan forbade him, saying, I have need to be baptized of thee, and comest thou to me? And Yeshua answered, said unto him, suffer it to be so, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
Then he suffered him. And Yeshua, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens were open unto him. And he saw the Spirit, the Ruach of the Most High Yah, descending like a dove and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven, saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased.
Now we know the Father called the end from the beginning. This was prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
So this was already so, but it just hadn't played out in the flesh. Right? So just like Aaron, when he was anointed, now, priesthood started. Now go ahead. Now the anointing came on the Mashiach.
That's right.
So now the increasing of him has officially started, and the decreasing of Levi has officially started. Mm-hmm. Now that the Ruach has come upon him. All right. So now let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5, pick it up at verse 1.
And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
All right, so all these teachings are teachings on kingdom citizens, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Right? The type of people with the type of mindsets that will be in the kingdom. So a lot of people, have trouble deciphering what these things mean because they're trying to think of it in a general sense as if it applies to everyday life. Bless are the poor. He not saying bless are those who had no money.
No.
You know what I'm saying? All these things pertain to the kingdom. All his teachings pertain to the kingdom of heaven. Right, brother. All right, so when he say, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the humble.
That's right, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Blessed are those who don't think much of themselves, who don't have an inflated sense of self. Right? Go ahead.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Uh-huh.
Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness.
You see that? Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness. You got a passion for this lifestyle. It's just not, when you think about this lifestyle, it's not something you think of as,
right,
I gotta do this.
Right.
It's the Shabbat.
It's a drudgery for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You thirst, you hunger after this. After you get through with Babylon for the day, you can't wait to get home to get to this. Get to them books. Get to them lessons, them videos, or whatever it may be, to pray, to start your fast, or whatever it may be. Go ahead.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
That's major, especially in a society where, you know what I'm saying, you taught to take revenge. Go ahead.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Yeah.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
The troublemakers.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Blessed are the peacemakers. Go ahead.
For they shall be called the children of Yah. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake.
Right.
For theirs is the kingdom of Shamayim.
That's right. Go ahead.
Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake.
Mm-hmm.
Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted the prophets which were before you.
All right, so look at the high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Look at his teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Right, his teachings is teachings on how to enter the kingdom of heaven. So as we see in our high priest, we seeing how he's teaching. It's about one thing and one thing only: kingdom business.
That's right, brother, and getting there.
And getting there. And getting there. He telling you, giving you the blueprint, the cheat sheet. Verse 13. Go ahead.
Ye are the salt of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
But if the salt has lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
You see that? The salt of the earth. A lot of the salt droppings and lost their savor.
And they lost their savor, bro.
They done lost their savor. He said, hey, wherewith shall it be salted?
Can't put salt back in.
No,
you can't put the flavor of the salt in the salt. It's got to have it. Once it loses it, it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just like chicken straight out the pack. no salt, no pepper, no nothing. You just throw it in the oven.
That's right. That's right. No season.
No season.
Bland. Good for nothing.
Go ahead.
It is this for good for nothing.
Yeah.
But to be cast out and to be tried under the foot of me. Mm-hmm. Ye are the light of the world.
You see what he told? You see what he telling his followers, his priests, his fellow priests? He's saying, ye are the light of the world, because remember, under his order, the whole nation of Israel are priests.
That's right.
He's saying, y'all the light of the world. Go ahead.
A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house.
What is our high priest telling us here? Hey, don't be ashamed of me and my message.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Abba, which is in heaven.
That's right. Go ahead.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Do what?
Think not that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets.
See, what the thing that's been constant under all priesthoods has been the law.
That's it, brother.
It's been the law. He said that the high priest after the order of Melchizedek just said, think not that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the law done away with. Okay, well, what about the prophets?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I have not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
I have not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Fulfill which parts, though? Which parts? All the prophecies concerning him in his first coming, and the laws of the Levitical priesthood that pointed to him. Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
That's right.
Till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Meaning you won't be there. You won't be there. Go ahead.
But whosoever shall do and teach them,
right,
the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Go ahead.
For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees.
Now, see, right there, he putting this particular group of people on the spot.
That's right, brother. Right out the gate.
Right? So now it's kind of like Melchizedek versus Levi. Because he calling them out. He telling you, look, the priests, unless you exceed their righteousness, he said, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Hold your spot right there. And let's go to Matthew 23. All right. Let's go to Matthew 23. And we're going to pick it up at verse 23. Matthew 23 and verse 23. When you get it, go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees.
Hypocrites. Woe means destruction.
That's right.
Destruction unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. Go ahead.
For ye pay tithe of mint
Mm-hmm.
and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
All right, so the righteousness of the Pharisees required omitting the weightier matters of the law.
The ones he ran down in 5.
That's right. That's right. And he finna he finna sum it up right here, what they are. Go ahead.
Judgment, mercy, and faith.
And faith. So they didn't have a belief. That belief we saw in Genesis 15.
Mm-hmm.
So they could never be righteous.
Mm-mm.
Without that. Mm-hmm. That's a matter of the law. It's faith. The law of faith. We did lessons on that before.
Yes, we have.
Judgment and mercy. So he said, so off the bat, we know we can't omit this, or we got the same righteousness of the Pharisees.
Come on now.
He said our righteousness has to exceed that. Go ahead.
These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
You see that? So he giving us, our high priest giving us a spirit and letter. You got to do both.
That's right.
He said, these things ought you have done.
That's right. And not
leave the other undone. Go ahead.
Ye blind black guy, we strain at a gnat, and swallow a camel.
See, you will sit up and bicker about non-salvational issues all day. But when it comes to the important stuff, that don't matter.
Right. That's right.
You will strain at a gnat.
Man, won't it?
Go ahead.
25. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess.
All right, and this is the epitome of the Pharisees' righteousness right here. It was a righteousness. It was an outward righteousness. An outward righteousness meaning that they kept the law and still missed the mark.
Right. And indulge in the things that they wanted to indulge in.
Exactly. So if we only have an outward righteousness, a righteousness that's only appeasing to man, to our fellow brothers and sisters, then we miss the mark. See that? He said, for ye make clean the outside of the cup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got the physical circumcision. You done been baptized. You got the fringes on. We see you fasting. You know what I'm saying? But inwardly, you wicked. Inwardly, you wicked. Verse 26. Go ahead.
Thou blind Pharisee.
Yeah.
Clean first that which is within the cup and platter.
You see that? He said, make the spiritual transformation first priority. This is what our high priest teaching us. He said, make the spiritual transformation first priority. And then he said, he said that outside the platter may be clean also.
That's right, bro.
Didn't Abraham put that prioritized spiritual transformation over the physical?
Yes, sir.
One he deemed righteous and he didn't have the physical circumcision?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
See that our righteousness has to exceed this. Now let's go back to Matthew 5. That's the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. You know what verse we stopped off at? Verse 20. Yeah, that was verse 20. Yep, partialites. Verse 21. Go ahead.
You have heard that it was said of them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. All
right, so now this is the Torah of Christ, the law of Christ. You know, we say the law of Moses. So now things are shifting. Moses' administration is decreasing. Christ's administration is increasing. You know what I'm saying? So now he about to give you the full understanding of what you read in the Torah. He about to give you the purpose of why those laws was there. That's what the spirit of the law is. right? The stop sign ain't there for you to just stop and wait for the other car to go. It's to ensure safety.
That's right. Bro.
That's the spirit of that law. You understand what I'm saying? Now, say if you told your child, don't get on that iPad until you clean your room. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you come back and they on the PlayStation and the room ain't clean.
Right.
Now, technically, they obeyed you. Technically, right. They didn't get on the iPad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. They missed the whole point.
But they still missed the whole point. They still missed the mark. So as you can see, same with our law. You can keep a physical part of that law, the literal part of that law, and still miss the mark.
Showing up for spot class.
Yeah. Wicked in the mind. Though.
Yeah. Show up at the feast. They don't get keep.
Yeah. Showing up at the feast days, but you wicked. Physically circumcised, but you a whoremonger.
Come on now. You a liar.
You a liar. Baptized, water baptized.
Still ain't anointed by the Ruach.
Still not anointed by the Ruach because you're inside wicked. You didn't clean the inside first. You came in here too concerned about getting baptized first, getting circumcised first, putting on the fringes first, hopping on YouTube first. You did it all wrong. Hey, pay attention to the stuff the high priest after the order of Melchizedek, Christ Hamashiach, Yahushua was trying to tell us. He told us to clean the inside first. He told us to clean the inside first.
Come on, man.
Look, what it said, 12 hour, bro. That's a good one right there, Hebrew. So now we know we can't walk up and shoot nobody in the head.
Mm-mm. No.
Right? But he finna give you the whole mindset of the creator of that law, or why he put that in there. Go ahead, verse 22.
Verse 22.
Yeah.
But I say unto you, whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council.
That's pretty much a word they use to insult one's intelligence. Right? Go ahead.
But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hell fire.
All right, let's discuss that first part of that verse. He said, but I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of judgment. Because murder starts in the mind. What's an example in the scriptures that we see of one who was angry with his brother without cause? Cain and Abel.
That's right, brother.
What real reason did Cain have to be upset at Abel to the point to where he wanted to kill him?
He had no reason.
So we see how and that started with a thought, right?
Started with his thought.
So, hey, murder starts in the mind. All sin starts in the mind. This what the high priest after the order of Melchizedek is. He's stressing the spiritual part of the law. Because what? Paul said what? The law is what? Spiritual.
That's it.
So we have to keep the law in the spirit, in the mind. You got to keep the law there first. You got to say no to sin there first before you do it in the action. And it be sincere. All right, verse 23, go ahead.
Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remember that thy brother has aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come offer thy gift. That's
right. Hey, that's plain and simple. We don't need to go into no detail on that.
That's right.
That's clear instruction. How often so ignored, though? Go ahead.
Verse 25 is a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him. Can I break that down?
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks from that after the argument been over while you in the way with him.
Yeah.
Get it right then instead of letting it sit and fester.
That's right.
So what are you saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
Lest that any time thy adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. Keep going.
Yep, keep going.
27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Is that all that there is to the law of adultery? Don't commit adultery.
Yeah.
But every person that walked by you lusting after.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? How did the adultery start with David and Bathsheba? Did it start with the act?
No.
Or did it start with visual?
Yeah, that's right. He started with visual, and then he started contemplating in his mind.
And then he started contemplating in his mind. That's how it always goes. That's how you arrive at any decision. You see something, you think about it, you come to a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Go ahead.
But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his mind.
That's right, because today in Babylon, the relationships is all over the place. So you don't know who taken and who not.
Yeah, and then some of them that's taking a lie said he ain't.
Uh-huh. That's why it's best to, like Job said, make a covenant with your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Look down. Look past them. Look at the top of their head.
Do something.
Do something. Go ahead.
And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out.
You see that the high priest after the Order of Melchizedek, he not going for no excuses. Well, Lord, I just can't stop looking. My eye. He like, look, now pluck it out then if it's gonna offend you and keep you from getting in the kingdom. Because I'm gonna throw you in the lake of fire if you deserve enough.
Mm.
Right? Go ahead.
And cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not thy whole body should be cast into hell.
Yeah, go ahead.
And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for that one of thy members should perish, and not thy whole body should be cast into hell.
That's right. And these things could be members of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Your carnal mind, your right hand could be a person you need to cut loose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's keeping you from your mission. Bro.
That Gang Green said,
That's right. He said, hey, he just let you know. He using mutilation to let you know the extremes you need to go to cut off whatever it is that's keeping you from entering to the kingdom of heaven. He like, you need to get extreme with cutting that off.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, save it for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery.
Mm-hmm.
And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committed adultery.
Keep going.
Again, ye have heard that it has been said by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shall perform unto Yahweh thine oaths.
Mm-hmm.
But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is Yah's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool.
Man, I swear to God, bro, on my grandmama grave. We got that bad. He ain't talking to nobody but us. I swear to God, on God. I get so tired of hearing that.
Yep.
On everything, bro. On everything. He said, hey, high priest after the Order of Melchizedek said, don't swear neither by heaven or earth, because he own everything. So it ain't like you can pay it. You can pay it when you know what I'm saying? When it fall through. That's you know what I'm saying? You taking his glory. Go ahead. By swearing by something you don't own, go ahead.
Neither by Jerusalem.
Yeah.
For it is the city of the great king.
Mm-hmm.
Neither shalt thou swear by the head swear by thy head, because thou cannot make one hair white or black.
On me. That's another one they say. On me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But let your communication be yea, and nay, Nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh evil.
You see that? He said, whatever, he said, whatever is more than yes or no, a simple yes or no, evil comes of it. Evil comes of it. And people have a problem with that when you don't explain yourself. Yes, no. Especially when you say no and don't explain yourself.
Right.
But hey, this how our high priest, if we priest after the order of Melchizedek, this how he telling us to behave. Right? The priest was in charge of teaching the law under the order of Levi, right?
That's right.
And we had to listen to him.
Right.
So hey, he the high priest after the order of Melchizedek, he in charge of teaching us how we supposed to handle the law and keep the law. We need to listen to him. Verse 38. Go ahead.
Ye have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth.
Right.
But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also.
Turn to him the other also. Telling us how to deal with each other because we resort to violence. Brought up in the worst conditions. We products of our environment. We weren't raised on therapy and learning how to talk stuff out, and you know what I'm saying, let cooler heads prevail.
Yeah.
So the Messiah knew that, and he like, look, y'all gonna have to turn the other cheek with each other. Hey, did our law? Is this something we can read in Exodus that already would teach us that? Would already infer that? Yeah. The laws, if you see an enemy's ox going astray, an enemy's ox, now. If you was to see the enemy's ox going astray, the law told you, hey, you had to go get that and take that back.
Yeah.
Now you and him just had words just yesterday, and that happened the next day. By you bringing that man his ox back and y'all being enemies, what that gonna prompt y'all to do?
Right,
squash it. And by you going out there and getting your enemy's ox, what you had to do? You had to turn the other cheek.
Yep. And when he means turn the other cheek, he talking about right here. Flip your mind from what you got.
Yeah.
The hatred you got against that brother.
Yeah.
And flip it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That's how we got to deal with each other. He said, turn the other cheek. All right, go ahead.
And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also.
That's humble. That's being humble. That's being meek. All right, go ahead.
And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain.
Go with him twain. Hey, if you dealing with a stubborn brother or sister, y'all get into an altercation and they go all the way to the court. He like, hey, give them what they want.
Yeah.
Give them what they want. Give them the cloak as well.
Yeah.
Here, you want this too? Because that's just going to make them feel bad. Like, dang, I done took it this far.
Yeah. Still dealing with that mind.
Still dealing with that mind. See, he ain't telling you to, all right, y'all put the boxing gloves on. These wise tactics to get mental responses out of people. All right, go ahead.
Give him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee turn not away.
Go ahead.
Ye have heard that it has been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies and bless them that curse you.
Go ahead.
Do good to them that hate you.
Yeah,
and pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you.
That's right. He talking about the enemies of your people. He said, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and do good to them that hate you. The brother or sister you know ain't talking to you because of X, Y, and Z. Do good to them. Just out the blue, do good. Pray for them. Pray for them. They walking around tight-lipped, not talking to you, and you help them out with something. Guess what that's gonna do? That's gonna soften them up.
Either that or heap coal to fire.
Either that or burn their conscience. It's gonna eat them alive until they do something about it. till they do something righteous about it. Go ahead.
That ye may be the children of your Abba, which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good.
You see that? He said, so if you don't do this, can you consider yourself a child of the Father? If this not in your MO, if your MO is cutting people off, I cut you off. I don't need no friends. Hey, I'm just telling you, this is what the high priest saying.
Right.
Now, if the high priest was saying that, now, yeah, I'm with it. But that ain't what he's saying, though. All right, go ahead.
And send his rain on the just and on the unjust.
Uh-huh.
For if you love them which love you, what reward have ye?
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead. If you only love those what love you, like, what did you really do?
Right.
How did you really show true charity? Like, y'all do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Go ahead.
Do not even the publicans the same?
Mm-hmm.
And if you salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so?
Oh man, I don't mess with them. They one West.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, I don't mess with them. They XYZ.
Yep.
Oh, didn't I see them brothers in the video with XYZ? Oh no, I ain't rocking with them. That ain't Christ-like. That ain't how Melchizedek priest roll. Go ahead.
Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
You see that? If you do all these things, he said you will be perfect. Point blank period. Let's go to the next spot. Let's go to Matthew 27. Matthew 27, verse 45. Matthew 27 and 45. When you get it, go ahead.
Now from the 6th hour, there was darkness all over all the land until the 9th hour.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And about the 9th hour, Yeshua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Right.
Some of them that stood there, when they heard it, said, this man calleth for Elias. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink. And the rest said, let be. Let us see whether Elias will come to save him. Yeshua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil in the temple was rent in twain from top to bottom.
That's fulfillment of Daniel 9. What we read earlier. All right, the sacrifices and oblation, he caused it to cease. Mm-hmm. Through the cutting off of the Messiah, the Prince. All right, so if there's no veil to sprinkle the blood, then hey, y'all, the priest is out of commission.
That's right.
All right, go ahead.
And the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were open, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose.
All right, that was it on that. Let's go to the next spot. 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 2. 2 Peter chapter 2. So things are escalating now. He's steadily increasing.
Yep.
And Levi has just significantly decreased without no veil. It didn't rip from top to bottom.
That's it, bro. And you know the crazy thing about that was?
What?
There was no one left who the Most High put the Spirit on them to redo that veil.
Nope. So one.
You know, he gave everybody a skillful spirit when they were building the tabernacle and temple.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody left that had that skill to resew that or remake that veil.
That's a fact. Even the sons of Zadok.
Nope.
He didn't prompt them to try to do it again.
Nope.
All right, 2 Peter chapter 2, pick it up in verse 1.
Excuse me. But there were false.
No, I said 2 Peter. 1 Peter, my bad. 1 Peter, my bad, y'all.
1 Peter chapter 2.
Yeah, pick it up in verse 1.
Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. If so be ye have tasted that the Yahweh is gracious.
You see that? Hey, that's as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. That's why so many people get bored, because they think they deep now and they don't need the basics. They don't need to go over the basics no more. They don't need to, you know what I'm saying, revisit the building blocks of this thing.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It don't work like that with nothing. The first time you take a shot of liquor, your chest burn. Anytime you try to eat solid food as a child, it's going to mess your stomach up. It's going to mess your walk up. When you don't desire the milk, you want to go straight to the meat. You trying to be deep, trying to be the next big thing in Israel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to be looked at a certain way amongst Israelites. Man, I don't care about all that. Was doing this when one or two people was watching, gonna be doing it if it's one or two people watching. So desire the sincere milk that ye may grow thereby. Go ahead.
To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Yah and precious.
Go ahead.
Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yah by Yeshua HaMashiach.
That's right. Go ahead.
Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect and precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
That's right.
Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious. But unto them that be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner.
The same is made the head of the corner. So, hey, how could you claim you under the order of Melchizedek and not accept the high priest? And not believe in the high priest?
That's right, brother.
Go ahead. You got to believe in him. He the high priest. He the one who gonna clear your name.
That's the only one that can.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And a stone of stumbling, a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient whereunto also they were appointed. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Verse 10.
Which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of Yah.
We'll go back over that topic pretty soon. Go ahead.
Which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
All right, and if we was to read chapter 1, verse 1, we see he was talking to the strangers scattered abroad, who were Israelites. Now, how was the Israelites not a people at one point, but now they are a people?
You know how it is, brother.
All right, so we'll go through that pretty soon. I got a feeling that's about to come back up in Israel pretty soon. So I'm going to get my notes ready because I got a feeling. All right, so we are a royal priesthood, right? Who have called us to show, to give spiritual sacrifices and honor Christ, pretty much is what they said.
That's right, brother.
And he's just quoted with Moses, what we read in Exodus 19 in part 1, I believe that was.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to Revelation chapter 1. Revelation chapter 1, we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1.
The revelation of Yeshua HaMashiach, which Yah gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass, and he sent and signified it by an angel unto his servant Yehuganah.
Right, go ahead.
who bear record of the word of Yah, and of the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach, and of all things that he saw. Blessed is he that readeth, and he that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Yehuganan to the 7 churches which are in Asia. Grace be unto you, and peace from him which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne, and from Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, who is the faithful witness, and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us, and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests.
He have done what?
And has made us kings and priests.
He has made us kings and priests. Go ahead. Unto who?
Unto Yah and his Father.
Oh, so if he have made us kings and priests unto God his Father, he just giving honor to who the priesthood is truly is.
That's it, brother.
Christ has made us kings and priests unto the Father. Go ahead.
To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
All right, let's go to the next spot. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3. Pick it up at verse 14.
Second Peter chapter 3 and verse 14.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent, that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. And account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you, as also all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, as they do also other scriptures, unto their own destruction.
All right, so Paul's writings was mainly inspired by his time as a Pharisee. And when he accepted Christ, it didn't change how he learned the scriptures. It just enhanced it to glorify Christ. So a lot of people don't understand that. To really understand his writings, you have to kind of understand or be familiar with Pharisaic thought, because that's how the brother learned the law growing up. It's just like, and these were quote unquote experts in the Torah.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just like, you see it with the school system. You see it with children in the school system all the time. Like when children first start school in kindergarten, you can tell the children whose parents actually took the time out with them versus the children who kind of just learned it on the fly.
Just now getting that, as they get
You know what I'm saying? It's different.
Night and day.
It's night and day. And that's kind of how Paul was versus the other apostles. He was learning from experts before he came into the knowledge of Christ.
Right.
He was already a scholar in it.
Right. So he had a deep understanding of the spirit of the law because of his knowledge of the scripture.
That's right. And the other apostles, they were not raised and trained by scholars of the Torah.
They were just ordinary Joe Blows that was learning, right out the gate.
Boom. And Messiah gave them the Ruach HaKodesh, and they learned along the way as he lived out his ministry. Because even at the end of his ministry, before when he came back, they still didn't understand the scriptures.
They sure didn't.
They still didn't understand the scriptures. And even the high priest Caiaphas at the time understood the scriptures of a Messiah coming to die for the nation. A quote unquote Pharisee. So we see how the brothers' writings would differ from Peter's or you know what I'm saying, John.
That's right.
Or Matthew.
the thing revealed to John, the Ruach, the angel had to reveal all that in Revelation to John.
That's right.
Paul was writing about it all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So it says some things in his letters are hard to be understood, and the unlearned, they twist his scriptures to their own destruction. They think they debunking something, but it's to their own destruction. All right, go ahead.
17.
Uh-huh.
Ye therefore, beloved, seeing ye know these things before, beware lest ye also being led away with the error of the wicked, fall from your own steadfast.
You see that? Hey, don't listen to him. I know y'all been hearing the chirping. Don't listen to him. You're gonna be led away. You being led away. They call those men wicked who twist his letters. He says they're in error and they're wicked, and they have fallen from their own steadfastness. Don't you fall from your own steadfastness by twisting the letters of Paul and other scriptures.
A lot of them do it too.
Go ahead.
But grow in grace and in the knowledge of our Master and Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach. To him be glory both now and forever. Amen.
All right, let's go to Galatians 3. Let's go to Galatians chapter 3. We're going to read Galatians chapter 3. Galatians chapter 3, verses 1 through 14. Then we're going to skip down. We're going to skip down. Go ahead.
O foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yeshua HaMashiach have seen evidently set forth, crucified among you? This only would I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by works of the law? Or by the hearing of faith?
All right, so did you receive the Spirit by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith?
That's right.
How did you receive the Ruach HaKodesh?
Working.
How did you receive it by getting the physical circumcision, or did you have the spiritual circumcision first?
Right. You had to believe.
You see that? You had to believe first. So he asking the Galatians, have y'all gone back into this Levitical priesthood mindset pretty much? Did you get the Ruach HaKodesh by the works of the law or by hearing of faith? Go ahead.
Are you so foolish, having begun in the spirit? Are ye now made perfect by flesh?
Wow. So he like, y'all started off good in the spirit, but now you done fell back into that carnal mindset. That way of keeping the law that don't bring perfection. That way of keeping the law that don't make the comers thereunto perfect. Go ahead.
Have you suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? Hear therefore that ministered to you the Spirit, and worketh miracles among you. Doeth he it by works of the law or by the hearing of faith?
You see that? So he let you know, look, what real power do the works of the law have? He said, is the working of miracles, do they come by the Ruach or by the works of the law?
That's right,
bro. Go ahead.
Even Abraham believed Yah, and it was accounted to him for righteousness.
Before he did the work of circumcision. Go ahead.
Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham.
That's right. Go ahead.
And the scripture foreseeing that Yah would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel unto Abraham, saying, in thee shall all the nations be blessed.
Go ahead.
So they which be of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham. Excuse me. For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continues not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them.
So those who are under the works of the law are those who are dependent on that whole way of keeping the law unsincerely as salvation. They think they can get salvation that way. You think you can still get in by not committing the physical act of adultery, but still have a filthy mindset. But you think your physical circumcision cancels that out. You think your water baptism cancels that out. You think your Sabbath day keeping cancels that out. Okay, if you gonna think like that, then you still under the curse of that law, because that priesthood, that administration could not bring you complete reconciliation.
Nope, can't bring you to perfection.
So if you was bound to die under that priesthood, if you stayed under that priesthood,
what you gonna
guess
do?
What? You still under the curse of that law. But hey, Christ being the fulfillment of all the animal sacrifices did what? Delivered us from the curse of the law. So why wouldn't you continue in the spirit? Why would you go back to that old mind state? Why would you be around here talking about Aaron, Levitical priest? Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of Yah. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith.
Go ahead.
And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them.
All right. I said 14, right?
Yes,
yeah, go ahead.
Mashiach has redeemed us from the curse of the law.
That's right.
Being made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is every one that hangeth on a tree.
You see that? So now you don't look to the law to justify you. You look to Christ to justify
That's right,
you.
brother.
Because he redeemed us from the curse of the law. Go ahead. Verse 14.
That the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles.
Go ahead.
Through Yeshua HaMashiach. That we might receive the promise of the Spirit, the Ruach, through faith.
All right, now let's skip down to verse 16.
Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made.
To Abraham and his seed were the promises made. What promises? The promises we read in part 2. The promises in Genesis 17, I believe Genesis 15, Genesis 20, what? It was 20 something we read. I think I got it.
I think it was
13. 20? Yeah, 13. We read those promises to it, and it said seed. Go ahead.
He said not, and to seeds as to of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is your Hamashiach.
So that seed was talking about Christ. Let's flip back to Genesis 17 real quick. I'm gonna read that real quick for the people. Let's read that promise. Right. Let's read that promise right there. Genesis 17, and I will read what verse is it? I believe it's 19. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's verse 19. Genesis 17 and 19. And Yah said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. The seed after Isaac, the only one that came from Abraham that was everlasting was Christ.
That's it, brother.
So how you make an everlasting covenant with somebody who's mortal? You make it with the seed that's going to be everlasting.
That's right.
So Christ is the seed. Christ is the seed. You can't argue that, you non-messianics.
David in the grave, man.
Yeah.
According to Acts.
Yeah. He said to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He said not to seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Hamashiach. Go ahead.
And then I say that the covenant that was confirmed before Yah in Hamashiach, the law, which was 430 years after, did not disannul it, that it should make the promise of none effect.
The law came 430 years after those promises.
430 years after.
So you got the promises first under the order of Melchizedek.
Come on, man.
Then you got the law that came 430 years after under the order of Aaron or the administration of Moses.
That's right. And then the promised seed came after that.
And then the promised seed came after that. So which one takes precedence over the other?
It's like one squished in the middle.
The law, yeah. Does the law take precedence over the promise?
No.
Or does the promise take precedence over the law? Go ahead.
Verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
For if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more of the promise. But Yah gave it to Abraham by promise. Wherefore then serve ye the law? Wherefore then serveth the law?
He said, so what was the purpose of those laws that came 430 years after? Now we know the 10 was eternal. The commandments was not even just the 10, because we saw laws that was written in the heavenly tablets about childbirth.
Right.
So the law was eternal, but this portion of the law that was added 430 years after, what was its purpose?
That's right.
He asked the question in verse 19. What was the purpose of the law? Go ahead.
It was added because of transgressions.
Exactly. So if we didn't have a sacrificial system, how could we be? We would just be filthy. No,
that's right.
not even no partial reconciliation. Nope. So he had to put a buffer between us and the Father and the Yahhead to keep from killing us. So the animals are a substitute. He said it was added because of transgression.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Till the seed should come, to whom the promise was made, and it was ordained by angels in the hand of a mediator.
Go ahead.
Now, a mediator is not a mediator of one, but Yah is one. Is the law then against the promises of Yah? Yah forbid. For if there had been a law given, which could have given life, verily righteousness should have been by the law. But the scripture has concluded, all underseen, that the promise of faith of Yeshua HaMashiach might be given to them that believe.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. But before faith came,
yeah,
we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be revealed.
That's right. Go ahead.
Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster.
The law was our what?
The law was our teacher.
The law was our schoolmaster. Let's look at that. It's G3807. Outline of biblical usage, a tutor. Look at that. Let's read it. It says a guardian and guide of boys among the Greeks and the Romans. The name was applied to trustworthy slaves who were charged with the duty of supervising the life and morals of boys belonging to the better class. The boys were not allowed so much as to step out of the house without them before arriving at the age of manhood. Strong's definitions. It says a servant whose office it was to take children to school, to tutor, instructor, a schoolmaster. So that was to tutor us, to prepare us for Melchizedek, prepare us for our high priest, to accept him, to accept his sacrifice, to be justified by his sacrifice, be justified by faith. Go ahead.
Well, we are no longer, I'm sorry, let me go back. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Hamashiach, that we might be justified by faith. But after that faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster. For ye are all children of Yah by faith in Hamashiach Yeshua.
All right, that was it on that. If y'all following us so far, if that was crystal clear to y'all, throw some sevens in the room before we proceed. If y'all understood that Galatians 3, put some sevens in the room. If y'all understood that Galatians 3, what we just went through, put some sevens in the room. We finna go to the next spot. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 3. Ephesians chapter 3. Hallelujah. We got sevens in the room. Yep. They with us so far.
Yes, sir.
It's all making sense so far. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's read a little bit something about Paul's ministry. Paul's ministry, his ministry came with a whole different teaching style, a whole different way of looking at the Torah. Let's read about it. I said Galatians. We're in Ephesians 3, y'all. Ephesians chapter 3, pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead.
For this cause I, Paul, the prisoner of Yeshua HaMashiach for you Gentiles. If ye have heard of the dispensation of the grace of Yah, which is given to me, you word, how that by revelation he made known unto me the mystery, as I wrote afore in few words.
Right.
Whereby when ye read, ye may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Hamashiach.
See what he said? He said that you may read, you may understand my knowledge. I'm telling you what he revealed to me. Go ahead.
Which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men.
You see that? You see what he said? He said the knowledge that he revealed to me was not made known unto the sons of men. Go ahead.
As it is now revealed unto his holy apostles and prophets by the Spirit.
So scoff all you want. Scoff all you want. The knowledge that was revealed to Paul was not made known unto the sons of men, as it is now revealed unto his holy apostles and prophets by the Spirit.
That's a sledgehammer right there.
Let's go to the next spot. I just want to throw that in there. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 2. Anybody out there running their mouth about the brother, like, hey, look, it is what it is. He went on record and said the knowledge that was revealed to him was not made known in other ages unto the sons of men. So how can you sit up there in good faith and say what he put down is off?
Right.
It was never revealed to you anyway, Negro, until you read it.
Right. Everybody always call him lying Paul and all that, but you can't call somebody a liar and the stuff wasn't even revealed to you. How would you know if he lying if it ain't never been revealed to you?
How would you know? You don't have the answer sheet.
Nope.
Hebrews chapter 2, pick it up at verse 10.
All right. For it became him whom of all are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. For both he that sanctified and they who are sanctified are all of one. For which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren.
That's right. Go ahead.
Saying, I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the church will I sing praise unto thee. And again I will put my trust in him. And again, behold, I and the children which Yah hath given me. For as much then as the children are partakers of the flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is the devil, and deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For verily he took not on him the nature of angels.
You see that bondage we were subject to, that's that curse of the law. If you want to be justified by the works of the law, you under the curse of the law.
That's right, brother.
That's that bondage. It was no way out under that administration.
No way out.
Go ahead.
But he took on him the seed of Abraham. Wherefore in all things that it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be merciful and be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to Yah, to make reconciliation for the sons of the people.
So what was what was that? What the Levitical priest was doing year after year? That wasn't reconciliation. Schoolmaster. Let's go to the next spot. Hebrews chapter 3. Hebrews chapter 3. We're gonna read verses 1 through 6. Hebrews chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. And this showing Christ is superior to Moses. Christ is superior to Moses. All right, go ahead. Verses 1 through 6.
All right. Wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the apostle and the high priest of our profession of Mashiach Yeshua,
Go ahead.
who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moshe was faithful in all his house. For this man was counted worthy of more glory than Moses.
That's right.
Inasmuch as he who had builded the house has more honor than the house.
Even Moses echoed these sentiments in Deuteronomy 18. A prophet that's coming after me, he said, him ye shall listen to. And if you don't, it's going to be required of you. All right, go ahead.
For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is Yah. And Moshe verily was faithful in all his house, as a servant for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken after. Excuse me. But Amasiah, as a son over his own house, whose house we are, if we hold fast the confidence and the rejoicing of the hope firm unto the end.
All right, let's go to the next spot. So Christ is counted more worthy than Moses. All right, so brothers holler circumcision, law of Moses. Christ is counted more worthy. He builded all things. Moses was faithful in his house. Christ built all things, though. So who's more superior? Christ. Go to the next spot. Hebrews chapter 7. Go through this chapter. We're going to do Hebrews 7, Hebrews 8, Hebrews 9, Hebrews 10. Go ahead.
For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Power, who met Abraham. Abraham returned from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him.
Yeah, go ahead.
To whom also Abraham gave a tenth part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace.
Go ahead. It's verse 3.
Without father, without mother, without descent, neither having beginning of day nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of Yah, abideth the priest continually.
Now, who fits without father, without mother, without descent, without having neither beginning of days? We answered that right at the gate.
That's right.
Testament of Judah, chapter 21, verse 1 through 4. It's the father's priesthood. He the only one that has no father, no mother.
Come on now.
Neither beginning of days. This priesthood ain't based on lineage, unlike the Levitical priesthood.
That's right, brother.
Go ahead.
Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of the spoil.
Because when Shem showed up on the scene as Melchizedek,
come on now,
it didn't run his lineage like it do the Levites. This is Shem, priest, the son of so and so. It didn't do that.
But who was he representing?
The Father.
See, he was coming as a priest of the Most High Yah.
Yeah, as a priest of the Most High Yah.
So we got to keep that in mind too.
That's right. Go ahead.
Now consider. Verse 5.
Yes, sir.
And verily, they that are the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithe of the people according to the law.
So technically speaking, Levi paid tithes to Melchizedek as well.
That's right.
Go ahead.
That is of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham, but whose descent is not counted from them, receive tithes of Abraham and bless him that had made the promise. And without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. And here men that die receive tithe, but there he receiveth them, of whom it is witness that he liveth. And as I may say, Levi also, who received tithe, paid tithes to Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. If therefore perfection was by the Levitical priesthood, for under it people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should arise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron?
That's a good question. If we could obtain perfection under it, we wouldn't have no need for Psalms 110, order of Melchizedek, Ner son, that they named Melchizedek. Wouldn't be no need for none of that. Go ahead.
Well, the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
So we already didn't establish the fact that the commandments was steady through all priesthoods. So the law being quote unquote changed, we know this is not talking about that law.
Nope.
Right? So the law towards the priest changed.
Yep.
That's that whole part of the Torah is inactive right now. Leviticus 21, Numbers 4. You understand? And so many more other things in the Torah concerning the priests. Let's look at change real quick. In the concordance, G33, you had something you want to say on that?
Well, I was going to say two things the Levitical priesthood was there for. The reconciling of the tent or the temple and the sacrifice.
Right.
When the tent and the temple was gone, and she started dealing with temples made without hands.
Yeah.
And he was the sacrifice. What need is there for the Levitical priesthood?
Right.
So, I mean, they had two basic functions. The service of the temple and the sacrifice.
That's it. It was never here to last. All right. So the change, transfer, you could put that word there, from one place to another, to change of things instituted or established. Strong's definition. Transposition, transferal to heaven. Check that out. Transferal to heaven. Disestablishment of a law. Disestablishment of a law. These definitions bring us some light to change, removing translation. So the law being transferred. Leviticus 21 is no longer a qualification for a high priest. That's the disestablishment of a law.
That's right.
Animal sacrifice is no longer required for justification. Lineage is no longer required for a priest under this priesthood. That's a disestablishment of the law. So for the priesthood being changed, there is made necessity also of a transfer of the law. Go ahead.
Verse 13. For he of whom these things are spoken pertaining to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar. For it is evident that our master sprang out of Yehudah, of which the tribe Moshe spake nothing concerning priesthood. And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arises another priest.
Then we read that in that second Enoch, that the priest of all priests was going to rise. Even after that baby that was named Melchizedek. So it calls Shem right here, verse 15, a shadow, a similitude, a type. He said there arises another priest.
Come on now.
Go ahead.
Who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life.
See that? He was not made after the law of a carnal commandment. All those ones we read in Leviticus 21, big nose, dwarf,
stones crushed,
all that. And it also means, hey, he the carnal commandment to sleep with thy wife. He wasn't made like that. But after what? The power of an endless life. Go ahead.
But he testified.
Yeah.
That thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
That's right.
For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before for the weakness and the unprofitableness thereof.
Yes, sir.
For the law made nothing perfect.
The law did what?
For the law made nothing perfect.
What?
But the bringing in of a better hope did.
Faith, that hope. Go ahead.
by the which we draw nigh unto Yah.
Mm-hmm.
And inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest. For those priests were made without an oath, but this was an oath made, oath by him that said unto him, Yahweh was swearing, not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
See that he said those priests, those Levitical priests, they weren't established by oath. Go read Exodus 28 and see if you see where the Most High made an oath to them like he did to Christ in Psalms 110. You're not gonna see it.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead.
By so much was Yeshua made a surety of a better testament.
Mm-hmm.
And they truly were many priests, because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death. But this man, because he continueth ever, hath an unchangeable priesthood.
Unchangeable. His priesthood is unchangeable. Go ahead.
Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto Yah by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them.
Mm-hmm.
For such an high priest became us. For such an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who needed not daily as those high priests to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, and then for the sins of the people. But this he did once, when he had offered up himself.
That was it on that.
Verse 28.
Go ahead.
For the law maketh men high priests which have infirmity, but the word of the oath, which was since the law, maketh the Son who is consecrated forevermore.
Oh, wait. It's established. It's set in stone. It's set in stone. If everybody understood that Hebrews chapter 7, if everybody understood Hebrews chapter 7, drop some sevens in the room, we can go to Hebrews chapter 8. On to Hebrews chapter 8. If everybody understood that, drop some sevens in the room. We in Hebrews chapter 8. Shem was a type of Christ. Ner's son was a type of Christ. All right, we got sevens in the rooms. Guess we can move on. Let's go, Hebrew. All Hebrews right. Chapter 8. Go ahead.
Now the thing which we have spoken, this is the Son.
Mm-hmm.
We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens.
The throne in the heavens again.
That's right.
The throne in the heavens again. So he even had a temple to go back to. Go ahead.
A minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which the Lord pitched.
Who pitched it?
Which Yahweh pitched.
Man, go ahead.
And not man.
Mm-hmm.
For every high priest is adorned to offer gifts and sacrifices.
Yep.
Therefore, it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer.
You see that? He said every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices. So why would Christ be excluded? He said, wherefore it's a necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. Go ahead.
For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law.
Go ahead.
Who serve unto the example of the shadow of heavenly things, as Moshe was admonished, of Yah, when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, said he, that thou makest all things according to the pattern shown to thee in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
But now he has obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant.
So who was the mediator of that first covenant?
That's right.
Moses was.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed Moses a blueprint for the tabernacle. Where did the blueprint from the tabernacle come from? Well, what was already going on in the heavens,
That's
what
right,
we read in the beginning of the first part. All right, go ahead.
Which was established upon better promises.
All right, so now we have a mediator of a better covenant, which is better because it's established on what? Better promises. Go ahead.
For if that first covenant had been false, then should no place have been found sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the days when I took them by the hand and to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, said Yahweh. For this is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said Yahweh. I will put my laws in their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a power, a Yah, and they shall be my people.
You see that? He said, I'm going to write the law on their hearts under this new covenant, this new administration, this new priesthood. The Levitical priesthood's biggest flaw was its ability to address the need for inner transformation. That was his biggest flaw. It wasn't designed to do that.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Verse 11. And they shall teach every man, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh. For all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he said, a new covenant he has made the first old. Now that which is decayed and waxes old is ready to vanish away.
Hebrews chapter 9. Let's get it.
Then verily the first covenant, and also ordinances of divine service.
See that? See what Paul calling he using the word covenant, and then he go right into ordinances of divine service. So let's see what all the first covenant, what portion of it is he talking about, because the commandments was a part of the first covenant, the 10 commandments.
But he went straight to the sanctuary.
He went straight to the sanctuary. So the Paul ain't teaching against the law. He telling you about a portion of the law that's now inactive. All right, go ahead. He said, for verily the first covenant also had ordinances of divine service. Go ahead.
And a worldly sanctuary. But there was a tabernacle made. The first way in was the candlestick and the table and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary. And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all.
This is the first covenant right here. Go ahead.
Which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant, overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had the manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant. And over it the cherubims of glory shadowing the mercy seat, of which we cannot now speak particularly. Now, when these things were thus ordained, the priest went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of Yah. But into the second went the high priest alone, once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people. The Ruach HaKodesh, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not made manifest.
You see that he letting you he by it being set up the way it was, that the priest went in first. I mean, he went in first for his own sins, and then second for the people. The fact that he had to do that year after year after year after year, the Ruach HaKodesh was showing us that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest. Right, bro? So if you was alive at that time, going through that year after year, seeing that year after year on the Day of Atonement, in your mind, it should have been going, this ain't it.
Right.
This ain't it. It's preparing us for something else.
That's right, brother.
All right, go ahead.
While as the first tabernacle was yet standing, which was a figure of the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices, that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to the conscience.
You see that? As pertaining to the conscience. Those sacrifices could not make you perfect. It couldn't. And then the teachings of Messiah, he told you do X, Y, Z, blessed are X, Y, Z, and if you
No,
do these things, you should be
go
what?
back there. I want to say it, but you went back there.
Yeah.
I was just finished saying. I said, nah, he gonna
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah, he said, you do these things. He said, be ye perfect.
Mm-hmm.
For me and your Father in heaven is perfect.
That's right. That's right.
High priest after the order of Melchizedek, telling you how it go. Go ahead, verse 10.
Verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Which is only in meats and drinks and divers washings or carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of Reformation.
He said it only had its strength in meats, drinks, and different washes and carnal ordinances that was only imposed on them until the time of Reformation, until the time of reform. Let's look at that word, Reformation. In the physical sense of making straight, restoring to its natural and normal condition, something which in some way protrudes or has got out of line as broken or mishappen limbs, acts of institution, reformation. So what would be its natural course or normal condition if we talking about in terms of priesthood? Well, what was it first? Melchizedek. All right, so the time of reformation is just until it switched back, the priesthood switch. Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
But Hamashiach being come and high priest of good things to come by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this build, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, he entered once in the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us.
Mm-hmm.
For the blood of bulls and goats and the ashes of an heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctifies to the purifying of the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
How much more shall the blood of Mashiach, who through the eternal spirit offered himself without spot to Yah, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living power. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament.
That's right.
That by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, that they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. For where a testament is, there must also of a necessity be the death of the testator. For a testament is of force after men are dead, otherwise it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moshe had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of the calves and of goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop and sprinkled both the book and all the people, saying, this is the blood of the testament which Yah hath enjoined unto you. Moreover, he sprinkled the blood both the tabernacle, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without the shedding of blood is no remission. Keep going. Yeah, 23. It was therefore necessary that the patterns of the things in the heavens should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. For Christ is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are a figure of the truth, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of Yah for us. Nor yet he should offer himself often, as the high priest entered into the holy place every year with blood of others. Excuse me. Verse 26. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world.
Right.
But now, once in the end of the world, he has prepared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. So did that mark the beginning of the end?
Yep.
I just picked that up.
Yep.
And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment. So Hamashiach was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation.
Let's go to Hebrews 10. Hebrews 9 is pretty much let you know, hey, it's only a once and for all sacrifice that he's coming to make. He's not gonna keep dying every year on Passover. Like he not gonna do that. He said, because it's appointed for all men to die once, so did Christ. And when he come his second time, he not gonna die again for sins.
No.
He only appearing for those who are his at his coming. All right. Let's go straight into Hebrews 10. Let's read Hebrews 10, 1 through 18.
All right. For the law, having a shadow of good things to come.
That's right. Go ahead.
And not the very image of the thing. Can never with those sacrifices, which they had offered year by year continually.
And I want to stop you right there. This is how you pay attention to your context clues, y'all. This is how you can find out what Paul talking about. Just read the words he used in reference to each other. Like right here, he used law and then he used sacrifices to describe what part of the law he talking about. He said, for the law having the shadow of good things to come and not the very image of the things, could never with those sacrifices. See, that's referring to the law, which they offered year by year. Go ahead, finish that out.
Continue to make the comers thereunto perfect.
Yeah, go ahead.
But then would they not have ceased to be offered, because that the worshipers once purged should have no more conscience of sin.
That's right.
But in those sacrifices, there's a remembrance again made of sins every year. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he said, sacrifices and offering thou wouldest not, but a body thou hast prepared me.
Yeah.
In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou hast no pleasure. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O Yah. Above when he said, sacrifices and burnt offerings and offerings for sin, thou wouldest not. Neither hast pleasure therein, for which are offered by the law. Then he said, lo, I come to do thy will, O Yah. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second.
That's right. Go ahead. By
which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yeshua HaMashiach once for all. And every priest standing daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifice, which could never take away sin.
See that? So what Aaron and his sons was doing year by year, it could never take away sin. It could never take away sin, no matter how many times they did it. Go ahead.
But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of Yah. From henceforth expected till his enemy be made his footstool. For by one offering he has perfected forever them that are sanctified. Whereof the Holy Ghost, the Ruach HaKodesh, also is a witness to us. For after that he had said before, this is the covenant I will make with them after those days, said Yahweh. I will put my laws in their hearts, and in their minds I will write them. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. Now where the remission of these is, there is no more offering for sin.
Hallelujah. That's pretty self-explanatory, ain't it?
That's right.
That's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go to the next spot. That was Hebrews chapter 7, Hebrews chapter 8, 9, and 10. Let's go to Galatians 6. Let's go to Galatians 6. That shouldn't have went over anybody's heads if you've been following along so far. Put some more sevens in that room if y'all understood those chapters of Hebrews. If anything go over anybody's head, we'll address it real fast if it did. But if not, we're going to keep stepping. What I say, Galatians chapter 6?
Yeah.
Yep, let's do Galatians chapter 6.
All right.
Galatians chapter 6. Let's pick it up at verse 11.
All right. You see how large a letter I have written unto you with mine own hand.
Yeah.
As many as desire to make a fair show in the flesh, they constrain you to be circumcised.
See that's he addressing really the Sanhedrin pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see, this is why he's writing this portion of the letter to him. This is the whole reason for him writing this portion of the letter, right? He says, many desire to make a first show in the flesh, that they constrain you to be circumcised. But why was they doing this? Read the rest of that verse.
Only that they should suffer persecution for the cross of Christ.
You see, back then, it was either one side or the other. And all the Christ followers was being persecuted, being killed, being crucified daily. We can read in history, they was crucifying up to 600 Jews a day. And Christ followers was being persecuted. So either you rolling with us, you get this mark in your flesh to show you a part of you rocking with us and the way we do things, or you with the Christ followers.
Mm-hmm.
So they constraining people to get, you know what I'm saying, to get circumcised so they can brag to the white man, look, they ain't causing, they with us.
Right.
They with us, because
right.
Why? They in bed with the heathen.
Right, that's right.
All right, go ahead.
For neither they themselves who are circumcised keep the law.
See, that's the issue right there. That's the issue there. He said they themselves who are circumcised, they don't keep the law.
They don't.
Go ahead.
But desire to have you circumcised, that they may glory in your flesh.
See that it's all for vain glory. Go ahead.
But God forbid that I should glory, save in the cross of our Master Yeshua HaMashiach, by whom the world is crucified unto me, and I unto the world. For in HaMashiach Yeshua neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but a new creature. And as many as walk according to this rule, peace be on them, and mercy upon the Israel of Yah.
You see what he said? He said circumcision, he said it availeth anything. It don't do you no good if you circumcise and don't keep the law.
Mm-mm.
And uncircumcision, it don't count to your detriment if you a new creature.
Mm-hmm.
Could we say Abraham was a new creature before he got physically circumcised?
That's right, brother.
So him being uncircumcised at that point, it's not to his detriment. It don't avail of nothing.
That's right, brother. And circumcision back then, that was the first time it was done. That had to be a faith act on Abraham's part anyway.
That's a fact. To cut on that part of your body?
Right. When it had never been done.
Yeah, you gotta believe.
Then you're 99 years old.
You gotta believe. So the whole thing is becoming a new creature before you worry about any of the outer things.
Right.
Because we see Abraham accomplish righteousness before he had it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what the brother Paul's saying. Look, don't be putting your faith in all these outward things. Just because you ain't committed the physical act of adultery. Don't put your faith in that when you've been thinking about it.
That's right.
This is what he getting at. Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
From henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Master Yeshua. Brethren, the grace of our Master Yeshua HaMashiach be with you, be with your spirit. Amen.
Let's go to Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2, pick it up at verse 17.
Behold, thou art called a Jew,
and
restest in the law, and makest thy boast of Yah, and knowest his will, and approvest the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law, and are confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind, a light of them which are in dark.
Then Christ called them, woe to ye Pharisees, scribes, hypocrites, O ye blind guides.
Mm-hmm.
So who are the Jews that Paul is talking to here? The Pharisees, the scribes, the Sadducees. Go ahead.
An instructor of the foolish,
a
teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law.
What verse?
I'm in 21.
Okay.
Though therefore which teaches another, teaches not thyself. Thou that preaches a man should not steal, dost thou steal? Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery, dost thou commit adultery? Thou that abhorrest idols, dost thou commit sacrilege? Thou that makest thou boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonoreth thou Yah.
You see what he's saying? He's saying y'all hypocrites. He said y'all teach the law, but y'all don't keep the law. And y'all circumcised. Go ahead.
For the name of Yah is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written. For circumcision verily profited, if thou keep the law.
That's what it is right there. He said, your circumcision, it verily profiteth you if you keep the Torah. Go ahead.
But if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision.
What? He said, if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision. Yeah. We read in Maccabees how all them circumcised Israelites partook in Greek customs and did what? Made themselves what? Uncircumcised. Your circumcision verily profited if you keep the law. Go ahead.
Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? And shall not the uncircumcision which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee, by whom the letter of circumcision does transgress the law? He dropped the bomb.
He dropped the bomb on that one. He said, if the circumcision keep the righteousness of the law, which is the faith, that's the righteousness of the law. It says, shall not his circumcision be counted for circumcision? If you disagree with that, then Genesis 15. Genesis 15. If you disagree with that, yes, it should be counted circumcision. Go ahead.
For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly. Neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly.
You see that? He is a Jew, which is one inwardly. Everybody talking about spiritual Israel, spiritual Israel. Spiritual Israel are the Israelites who keep the law spiritually.
There you go. Holiness, holy.
That's right. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly. Go ahead.
And circumcision is that of the heart.
That's right.
In the spirit and not in the letter.
Ooh, that ain't the true circumcision.
That's right, brother.
And the fact that Abraham was counted righteous before he was given that covenant of physical circumcision proves that. Go ahead.
Listen to this part. Whose praise is not of men.
That's right.
But of Yah.
But of Yah. But of Yah. Romans chapter 3, 1-6.
What advantage then, if you want to wait till you pull it up?
Now, you know what? We ain't got to go to that. We nail home the point on that. Let's go to Colossians 2. Let's do that one. Let's go to Colossians. Ooh, I misspelled Colossians up there. Y'all see how I spell Colossians up there? Look, they can't even pull that up. It said error. I said COLANSSIANS.
We're going to talk it up to a long day.
Yeah. Okay, Colossians chapter 2. Let me see how they got it spelled up in this Bible. It's a tricky word. Hold on. Polo SS. Okay. Okay, I was right. Yeah. I'll pick this up at verse 8. When you get it, go ahead.
You said Colossians chapter 2, verse 8.
Yup.
Beware lest any man spoil you through vain philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and not after Hamashiach. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power, in whom also ye are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, in the putting off of the body of sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Hamashiach.
Oh, so that's the circumcision Abraham had.
Quickening the mind.
Yes, sir. Abraham had the circumcision made without hands, which is the putting off the body of sins of the flesh. Abraham had the circumcision of Christ. All right, go ahead.
Buried with him in baptism,
wherein
ye also are risen with him through the faith of the operation of Yah, who has raised him from the dead, and you, being dead in your sins and the uncircumcision of your flesh, hath he quickened together with him, having forgiven you all trespasses.
He said he hath forgiven you of all trespasses. And he writing to Colossians, who he said was uncircumcised in the flesh. Go ahead.
Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross.
All right, so by now we all should know, everybody listening should know what ordinances those was that was blotted out.
That's right, bro.
All right, the administration of Moses, the Levitical priesthood, whatever you want to call it. Verse 15, and we'll move on.
And having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a show of them openly, triumphing over them in it.
All right, let's go to Romans chapter 4. Romans chapter 4. If y'all understanding everything so far, we about to wrap it up in a minute. I want to get into the Levitical priesthood doing the sacrifice, doing the 1,000-year millennium reign. We'll get to that probably in another part, small part. We'll do that in another part. But let's get this Romans 4 and then another spot after that, and then we'll wrap it up. Because I think we, you know what I'm saying, made our point.
Yes, sir.
Let's get this Romans 4, and then we're going to do Deuteronomy chapter 10, 12 through 16, and we out of here.
4 and 1.
4, pick it up at 1.
All right.
Yep.
What shall I say then? Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, hath found. For if Abraham were justified by works, he hath whereof to glory, but not before Yah. For what saith the scripture? Abraham believed Yah, and it was counted to him for righteousness.
That's what the scriptures say now.
Yep.
Genesis 15.
Yes,
that's where it said it. Go ahead.
Now to him that worketh is reward not reckoned of grace, but debt. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justified the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness.
So did the Most High or Christ, who was dealing with Abraham, tell him he was righteous after he did the work of the circumcision? No. Go ahead.
Even David also described the blessedness of the man unto whom Yah imputed righteousness without works, saying, Blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven and whose sins are covered.
Right. Blessed
is the man to whom Yahweh will not impute sin. Cometh this blessedness then upon the circumcision only, or upon the uncircumcision also?
That's a good question. Do this type of grace come on men who only circumcised the uncircumcised? Genesis 15. Because the whole dilemma you had in the New Testament was brothers coming into the faith who lived their whole lives physically uncircumcised. And then brothers telling them, in order to get down with the truth, you had to be circumcised first. See Acts 15.
They were clowning.
You know what I'm saying? They kind of made the circumcision like an initiation process to your walk.
But then they said they were children of Abraham.
Right. He said, but do this blessedness come upon the circumcision only, or upon the uncircumcision also. Go ahead.
For we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
How was it then reckoned? When he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision?
How was it reckoned? Go ahead.
Not in circumcision, but uncircumcision.
Ooh-wee.
And he received the sign of circumcision as a seal of the righteousness of the faith which he had, yet being uncircumcised, that he might be the father of all of them that believe, though they be not circumcised, that the righteousness might be imputed unto them also.
That's right. That's how he could be, through him, all nations of the earth should be blessed. If they believe on that what? Seed that came from Abraham. Go ahead.
And the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only, but who also walk in the steps of that faith of our father Abraham, which he had been yet uncircumcised. For the promise that he should be the heir of the word was not to Abraham, but to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. For if they which are of the law by heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect.
What verse was that?
That was verse 14.
All right, skip down to verse 20. No, skip down to verse 18.
All right. Who against hope believed in hope, that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken.
You see there it says, who against hope believed in hope, meaning when it was nothing to hope for, when he was old in age and his wife had passed menopause, wasn't nothing to hope for. He still hoped. That's what hope believed in. Who he said, who against hope believed in hope. That's what that means. Go ahead.
So shall thy seed be.
Yeah.
And being not weak in faith, he considered not his own body now dead. When he was about 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb. He staggered not at the promise of Yah through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to Yah, and being fully persuaded that what he had promised, he was able also to perform.
See that? Not only for Isaac, he didn't have faith for Isaac, but the seed that would come after him. So even the brothers in the Old Testament had to do what? Put on the faith of Christ. Go ahead.
And therefore it was imputed to him for righteousness. Now it was not written for his sake alone that it was imputed to him, but for us also, to whom it shall be imputed if we believe on him that raised up Yeshua, our master, from the dead, who was delivered for our offenses and was raised again for our justification.
Hallelujah. Let's go to the last spot, Deuteronomy 10. Deuteronomy 10, 12 through 16. And then I'll do another part because I got a few more scripts. The last part will be real short. It ain't that many scriptures, but it's enough for another class. It's enough for another class.
All praise.
I ain't want to hold the people too long.
It's all good.
Deuteronomy 10, what I say, verse 12?
You ain't giving that yet.
Yeah, 12 through 16.
All right. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12, and I read. And now, Israel, what does Yahweh without power require of thee? But to fear Yahweh without power, to walk in all his ways and to love him, and to serve Yahweh thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of Yahweh and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heavens of heaven is the Lord's thy power, and the earth also with all that therein is, him, I'm sorry, all that there is. Only Yahweh had delighted in all thy fathers to love them and to choose their seed after them, even you above all people as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart.
There it is.
And be no more stiff-necked.
There's the circumcision of Christ right there in your Torah.
There it is, bro.
The circumcision of Christ right there in your Torah. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart. All these are Melchizedek principles.
That's it, bro.
All these are Melchizedek principles. We still ain't dealt with Levi and the 1,000-year millennial reign.
Let's bring that on back. Run that back.
You know what I'm saying? You want to do that now or wait till that last part? We can do it.
Man, how you want to do it? You want to do the last part?
We'll do it in the last part. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We already know what's up, but like we say, we desire that sincere milk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was the class for the
all praise, man. All praise to the Most High.
Hope somebody got some understanding.
Yes, sir. I know I did. All praise to the Most High. I want to thank everybody once again for tuning in to the channel. Still had, I don't know what's going on, but had problems uploading the going live, on Order of Melchizedek, on Mike's Facebook and Order of Melchizedek Facebook, Memphis as well. So we just be uploading after the class is over with. Excuse me, y'all, family. I've been dealing with allergies and indigestion, so y'all excuse your brother tonight. Think we'll be at the class tomorrow. If Amnon is still on, just verified about it. I think we're going to be at the class tomorrow, 1 p.m. Home 2 Suites in Olive Branch, Mississippi. We'll be at the class tomorrow. Getting ready also, getting ready for Pesach, getting ready for unleavened bread. I know we had some questions, and I think I know Maria hit me up because one of the sisters had a question. Then Young Prince hit me up today at work. So that's on me, family. It's a typo I had going down. That unleavened bread was ending on the 13th at sundown. It should have been ending on the 12th of sundown, going into the 13th of April. So that was a typo on my part, but we got it all straight. I think everybody got the understanding on it. So we'll be getting ready for Pesach, and then I don't know if you've been catching Tupelo Brews. They've been doing some little pump-up sessions on Pesach. We will be having Pesach, everything secured. We'll be having Pesach in Tupelo this year. Gonna be doing something different. Gonna be down in Tupelo, Mississippi, doing Pesach. Anybody that's coming to Pentecost. Pentecost. Anybody that's want to come to Pentecost, please hit us up. Put the email ticker up there, TJ. Scroll up there. Yeah, put the email ticker up there. Now just hit save. Now just click on ticker. Yeah. Anybody that's want to come to Pentecost or plan to come to Pentecost, please let us know so we get a correct head count. We try to reserve some rooms in the hotels in the surrounding area down in Tupelo, Mississippi. It's kind of still up in the air. We hadn't made this solid yet, but anybody that comes down for Pentecost, we're thinking about taking the people over to the land to see the land that we purchased, but we plan on building that, building our little compound, our community, where we're going to be doing our gardening, farming, and all that. So got some other things planned. I know one of the brews wants to be baptized. We're going to try to get that baptism done, Most High willing, doing that Pentecost. Got a lot of things planned. I know my ribs is already starting to get stuff planned, doing a little baskets and stuff for the guests. Everybody's getting kind of hyped up. I know the Tupelo Brews hyped up. Amnon always hyped up on feast days. So got a lot of good things planned for the people. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to let that Ruach come down just like it did on the day of Pentecost with the apostles. So get your hearts right, get your minds right for Pesach and unleavened bread. And maybe, just maybe, on that 50th day, that Ruach might sweep through that room and we see a move of the Most High Yah. So that's all I got, bro. What else you got? You got anything for the people?
Man, I ain't got nothing. One love, family. Enjoy the rest of y'all Shabbat. Man.
Is it?
All praise to the Most
All
High.
praise to the Most High. Excellent edification and glorification to the Most High. All praise, honor, and great glory is unto our power. The power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. To our brothers and sisters in the faith, as always, we salute you. We're going to holler at y'all on the other side. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat.